each speaker from the audience after the speaker's done. For the speakers, I'll be keeping time, and at the 2-minute mark, I'll just give you a 2-minute mark warning. And then I'll let you know when your time is up, because I want to make sure everybody gets equal time. So with that, I'd like to welcome our first speaker, Dr. Sucheta. She's the medical retina and ROP specialist. She completed her master's with distinction from the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine, and she's the director at HV Desai Eye Institute in Pune. Her research interests are ROP, diabetic retinopathy, and qualitative studies. So thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to give a brief introduction to the research that we've been doing since last few years, the use of artificial intelligence in ROP. So for the unversed, let me just briefly let you know how artificial intelligence works in healthcare. AI is nothing but a computer-generated algorithm, which is based on a principle of pattern recognition. So if exposed to several hundred or thousands of similar looking images, the algorithm starts identifying a disease pattern. And why this is relevant for ROP? Because ROP, as you all know, is emerging as a very important cause of childhood blindness in countries such as in India or in other lower and middle income countries because of better survival rates among preterm neonates. So it has become a huge public health problem. There is a huge gap between demand for the services and availability of the ROP experts who can provide services. Ophthalmologist-led screening is a very costly affair, and it doesn't make economic sense to make an ophthalmologist do the screening for ROP. And of course, the last limitation of ophthalmologist-led ROP screening is there is always certain subjectivity in the diagnosis. So how AI works in ROPs? ROP, basically diagnosis of ROP is based on certain clinical points, 3 to 4 clinical points, which are of most importance. First is recognition of the zone of the ROP. Oh, sorry. Recognition of the zone of the retina in which the blood vessels have completed their growth. So the most posterior part is zone 1. The circle outside the first one is zone 2. And the last crescent-shaped area of the retina, that is most peripheral retina, is zone 3. So identification of correct zone, identification of blood vessels in an accurate way, as well as identification of stage of the disease. These are the 3 important points. And lastly, but not the least, is identification of plus disease. Plus disease is defined as dilatation and tortuosity of the blood vessels in the posterior pole. So when we initiated this research, 4 experts participated in this study. All of them had minimum 2 years of experience of screening as well as managing ROP. We performed inter-observer variability tests until we got an excellent agreement. We achieved a kappa value of 0.94. And once this was achieved, all the experts annotated the images, which were then fed to a AI algorithm to train the model. Once the training was completed, the model was presented with certain new sets of images, which were then diagnosed by the model and were validated by experts to check whether the diagnosis was correct or not. And the last stage was testing of the model, where again several hundred new sets of images were presented to the model to see how accurately the model can identify the zones, blood vessels, stages of the ROP, and also the plus disease. We used over 2,000 images for this study, and we found that the AI algorithm could identify blood vessels with 93% accuracy, stages of the ROP with 98% accuracy, and even the retinal zones were identified with 98% accuracy. When it came to identification of plus disease, the accuracy was 93%. Of course, it is an ongoing work because one needs the more images you present to the model, the more robust it will become. So, of course, this research was not free of any challenges. Most important challenge is finding time for an ophthalmologist. And it's very difficult to have an ophthalmologist do this and maintain motivation while doing it, because when someone is annotating the images, if one is sitting there for hours together doing it, it's very boring to do this annotation job, and then doctors don't want to do it. So we allocated, that is the biggest challenge. Doctors are not very willing to invest their time in doing this. So we allocated a specified time for the doctors and made them free from all other tasks. And we didn't force them to do it at a stretch. We gave them half an hour, 1 hour every day to be able to do that, which kept their motivation, maintained. There was, of course, there was some subjective variation even among the experts, which is a well-known phenomena in the field of ROP. So a senior-most ophthalmologist was identified as an arbitrator. So when there was disagreement, the arbitrator played the role of correct diagnosis. And the third challenge is quality of images is not always uniform. In extremely preterm babies, often we see what is called as vitreous haze of prematurity, which compromises the quality of image, and it becomes difficult to identify stage very accurately. But we still did not exclude the images because we wanted the data to resemble a real world scenario and make the model more robust. And of course, lack of public data sets was another challenge, because ROP is not a very common disease. So in order to get several hundred or thousands of images of a particular stage, you would need to wait for a year, 2 years. So we published this public data set. I have forgotten to cite the paper here, but now there is a public data set available for other researchers to use for ROP research. So what are the steps needed to translate this into practice? Of course, we plan to continue work with the poor quality images to improve the robustness of the model. And the ultimate logical end of this work would be integration of this AI model into a commercially available camera system. So the current camera systems that are available in the market do not have an integrated AI, and we are working on that, and hopefully we expect to get a grant to be able to complete this. So for which we are going to need a help of electronic as well as software engineer who would be doing that, be responsible for the marriage between software and hardware. And ultimately that will result into real instant bedside diagnosis for the preterm babies. And the impact of this would be, 90% of the babies would not have to go to an ophthalmologist for screening, because only 5 to 10% of the babies usually need treatment. So most of them do not have severe ROP and need not be seen by an ophthalmologist. Thank you.